Now here's the jargon. Continuity membership. You say, Jason, what's the difference between the two? And as far as I'm concerned, there is none. I will use them interchangeably here. It just basically means a situation that you're going to set up where people are going to pay you more than one time and not in a payment plan type of situation. So you're not in a continuity program when you buy your house or your vehicle. That's a payment plan. You don't get new stuff when you make a new payment. You don't get a free oil change every month when you pay your car payment. But information-based and education-based and business-based things where they have the capacity to pay you month in and month out, where they may have either continuing access or new access to new things. That's continuity and membership. I will use them interchangeably here. Now, there's fixed-term type of continuity, which means that they will pay you for a certain period of time and then they'll quit paying you. Total payments will be completed upon a certain period of time. Now, again, this is different than a payment plan. These are not installments, right? These are, as long as you stick with it, you'll continue to get access for, say, a 3-month fixed-term continuity is very, very common. So it's 3 payments of $97 a month for 3 months straight. And the idea here is if they cancel in month 1 or they cancel in month 2, maybe they still have access to what they have access, but it's incomplete until they resume payment on the other portions of it. And you say, Jason, if you're going to do that, why don't you just make it 3 payments of 97, spaced 30 days apart as a payment plan? And I'll tell you why. Because having a membership as a perception versus having a product, one has a higher perceived value than the other, and that's the membership. The other reason is you might find you maximize total customer value by breaking up payments and positioning it as such, because somebody pauses and, it's very unlikely that once somebody misses a payment that they're going to complete payment on a payment plan for a product. But if you pause their membership and they know they get access again as soon as payment resumes, they're much more likely to do that. And fixed continuity at the end of the day is just an exercise in what's the ideal time frame and price point to sell this information and this content. And the other type of continuity that is more common is called till forbid continuity. And that's basically, I always joke that they will continue to pay you until they either cancel, they die, or their credit card expires. That is till forbid. As long as the program still exists, they can continue to pay you month in and month out, or week in and week out, or whatever your payment terms are, your billing cycle is. Open-ended continuity is another way to describe this. Now, there's also churn. These are the number of customers that wash out every single time a new billing cycle, that cancel between billing cycles, or their card expires, or there's a payment issue that doesn't go through, and you lose them as a paying customer. And then the billing cycle is how often they're paying you, whatever they're going to pay you. The typical thing is monthly. So $37 a month. Now, $37 a month for 6 months is a fixed term version of that. $37 a month forever until you cancel, we stop the program, or you die, right? One is till forbid, one is fixed term, but they're both talking about a billing cycle. Now, people have done these weekly, where they bill you every single week. I've seen billing cycles that are every other week. We call that bi-weekly. I've seen billing cycles that are tri-weekly, every 3 weeks. I've seen billing cycles that are annual, which is once a year you rebuild. I've seen ones quarterly, every 90 days, right? I've seen half-year billing cycles. So just because the normal is month in and month out doesn't mean it has to be that way. But in whatever repetition of billing, we refer to that as the billing cycle. We will also talk about stuff such as stick strategies and retention. So that just means ways of stopping customer churn. And we'll talk about multi-tiered offers where they have 3 or more, or 2 or more different ways that they can engage in continuity with you, as well as a variety of other things. But these are the big picture stuff that a lot of people get hung up on when it comes to the jargon. These are some additional considerations for continuity. Is it going to only be info only for the lifetime of the continuity program? It probably shouldn't be. It's okay to start there because it's the simplest way to get going and get moving, but information only type of continuity is the hardest type of continuity that exists out there to sell. Now, there are ways to make it work, and we're going to explore and talk about this. Usually we start here as low-hanging fruit and as an opportunity to get a foothold in before we expand. You'll have to be aware that support is more challenging with continuity programs than with standalone products, because if you screw it up, it can eat you alive. And if you really screw it up, it can damage your brand massively. So you have to have your support game on lock, and you have to communicate what that support is like to the customer in advance of them needing it for you to be able to properly scale up and manage long-term your continuity program. Complexity. I personally don't feel continuity programs are that much more complicated than regular standalone products, but I will tell you customers are very good at making them more complicated because there are more moving pieces. And so continuity opens the door for the tendency for you to want to overcomplicate things. Keep it simple, and then once you establish and validate the concept will work at its simplest form, then add on and build up from it. Lastly, here is the disposition is that some topics are easier than others. Continuity is not a one-size-fits-all. There's very contextual. Stock trading is an extremely easy information-only based type of continuity program that exists out there because the market changes every day. So the need to always have the latest, greatest information is important to that audience. Continuity very simply lends itself. Now, pregnancy, it's something that you don't experience a lot, especially if you're, a man, but as a woman, you don't experience pregnancy a lot. And when you do, how can you make that continuity? It requires a little bit more forethought. So you might break down a fixed term continuity that is 6 months long. So starting on month 3, month 4, month 5, month 6, month 7, month 8, month 9 of the pregnancy. And then maybe you throw in a bonus module for the first few weeks afterwards, right? So that one can be made into continuity, but that would never probably be a till for big continuity unless your target market was women who plan to consistently be pregnant year in and year out. Not a big market, right? Now, the last example is migraine cures. If your market is migraine cures, I don't know if you'll ever be able to create a continuity that serves the customer there, because if you are able to get rid of their migraine completely, why would they continue to need to pay you? The only situation where you could set that up is if you created something where the minute they stopped using your program, the migraines would come back. And that's not the kind of stuff I like to sell to customers. I don't want to make them dependent on me. I want to make them independent from me. But I'd like to create a situation where they can continue to benefit by being around me. And we just make it better and better and better. Not a massive pain of disconnect, although there's some pain of disconnect considerations that we'll talk about here. But so you have to realize certain markets lend themselves incredibly easily to continuity. And that's usually when you're going to have some sort of angle that makes a lot of sense to go in your continuity program versus somebody else. But there's some other ones that aren't obvious that they should be continuity, but came with a little bit of massaging made into continuity, which are very powerful. And then there's some that no matter what you do, you just can't make them work. And so therefore you don't try to. And so, but I believe every major market has the ability to have some sort of continuity component that is tied to it. Now, certain topics won't, but there'll be something that you will. Just be aware of that, though, that some are predisposed and easier to do than others.